We'll get it started. We'll let everybody in. You know, KD, we've had, just so you know, man, I think we have like 1,200 people or something, 1,300 people that have signed up for this session. Literally like 1,300 people are getting this.
Right. It's building momentum, man. Like people are starting to, like, I was on the road the previous week in Nashville for an event, and I had, I think, 7 or 8 people come up and like thank us for doing this. And like people are talking. It's starting to build momentum, man. People are starting to realize and understand what's possible. So, this group's just ahead of the game.
Yeah, the option, again, for a lot of folks, isn't what, should I do something? I think the most common conversations I'm having now are like, I was catching up with CRO, and, she's like, Jake, my head is spinning, like there's just so many different applications. And so I think for a lot of folks, it's, it's that, right? It's those folks. And so if you're watching this afterwards, what's going on, everyone? I know we had to move it up a half hour. So I thank everybody for doing that. We're going to be, really getting into some really strong, like growing customer relationships today. Here's the thing. A lot of the prompts, and the beautiful part is when you start to let yourself give some time to think, you'll see how this is applicable to like anything, like whether you're trying to generate more meetings, close more deals. Most of the prompts and the things that we're going to show you are going to do all of that. So without further ado, because we got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
What's going on? We got Mark Steinman in Minneapolis. Make sure, as usual, drop in where you're joining from. KD, can you chat now? Did we finally allow you to chat?
Oh my gosh, I can do everyone.
There you go.
Yes. All right. Y'all have been keeping that from me for the last few sessions. So I don't know what you're so afraid of. So here we go.
Hey, it's usually I'm the one who's kept from it, right? Yeah. Usually I'm the one people are worried about, much less so you. And I've got to, we'll if you're watching this, if you join at 11 and you're like, what's going on here? Don't worry, it's recorded as usual. And it says session 7. So, our original plan was to do 9 of these. KD, I don't think we're stopping, are we, man? I think
no.
There's
because we've learned, because we're still learning. Like I don't think y'all, like, I'd say this almost every session of like, literally, if y'all were to read our text message just this morning, I'm going, yo, Jake, have you been playing around with Claude at all? And he's like, no, I've been more like on Bing lately.
I've been trying Bing. Yeah, exactly.
We're learning every single week. And so I think as we've gone through this, we've gotten new use cases. We've gotten feedback from people that are doing this in real life. Like, this is going to keep going. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, man, I've got some. And hey, will you respond to my email about November 6th? Will you respond? I got Scott Leese already signed up. Yeah, you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll look for
it. Me, you, and Scott Leese podcast November 6th in person. So let's I want you to check that out. I'm sure everyone would love to see that too. So, all right, let's talk about current customers, growing relationships. Again, you probably want to grow relationships with prospects too. So, if you're an SDR or you're in sales, I think you will immediately see how this is applicable. If you're in sales leadership, I did a post on this yesterday, KD. I stole some of the content from this, and it people were like, holy crap. I was like, I think I just broke customer success with ChatGPT. And it's just what it allows you to do to have a quality interaction. Because you and I both know, man, the handoff process sucks. Most organizations are not just bad at this. It's like non-existent. It's like, oh, you signed a contract, deuces.
Right.
And it's pretty funny, man. I challenge sales leaders. I'm like, have you experienced it? Have you went through it? Just how bad it is. And then you wonder why year one churn is so bad. You start that relationship off with nothing, with like no, idea of like what's happened. So we're going to talk about, like, again, getting up to speed on their business, running better meetings, etc. So first, let's talk about this, KD, getting up to speed. So let's talk about, again, like, typically what do people do? And then what are some of the use cases here? And I'll kind of, pump through it here. But what do you see teams typically do when it comes to getting up to speed with customers? And then, what gets you excited about ChatGPT and its ability to help there?
So typically is, hey, schedule your onboarding call with Jake next week, really excited for you. and then that's it. And then the CS rep is going into Salesforce, trying to see whatever jibble jabble notes of the AE put in there, and that's it. And then the kickoff call is a lot of the CS individual asking a lot of questions that I, as the leader or my team, have already spent the last 6 months answering, right? And then that's it. And then the second part, what I'm jumping ahead here a little bit, that I'm excited about is, think of all the training we talk about sales teams trying to get on industry and messaging. That tends to not be happening in CS at all. Like, we gotta remember, for success, you need to be able to teach the customer something. So right now, most details are not carried over. The notes are not clear. The context is missing. There might be content in the CRM, but the context of what it meant. And as we know, so many of the conversations that happen are outside of the demo. And all of that is missing from a CS. And like, how did we get to this point? So the more, to your point here, the personalized and the context, that's what needs to be happening in this handoff.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this is a good prompt. I mean, there's some bonkers stuff, for everyone out there. This one's a great one. Yeah. Okay. So I've got a meeting coming up with this company. And and you hit it on the head. Even if you don't know, maybe you inherit a new client. Like, hopefully, if you're going to work with a customer, you're curious about their business. Like, you want to know what business they're in. Like, that's kind of a important step, just so you all know. If you don't care about your customer's business, then you can probably just drop from the conversation, because that's all we're going to be focused on is for, do you actually give a shit about your customer's, business? So look at this one. Draft an agenda for my meeting. Let's say I get a new customer. Also, generate a list of potential questions the client might have about insert product or service, along with a well-reasoned responses. Here's the information you need to know. And just so you know, if you've got the web-enabled version of ChatGPT, which all of you should be using, whether you're using WebPilot, which is the one we need to get an endorsement deal from.
I was going to say, man, like, at this point, that needs to be like a neck tattoo, right?
WebPilot needs to pay me. So if you work at WebPilot, I'm looking for some royalties. Because what you can do is, I can literally, another variation on this one, right? So here's kind of the way that you can fill it out. And for all of you who don't know, all of these templates are available, and I think Becca just dropped the link in the Notion page. So if you have not signed up for if you have not signed up for our Notion page, it's literally $50. I mean, give me a break. Okay, it's $50. All these prompts you can get there, so you can just copy and paste. Also, we dropped the link for the workshops, small groups, 5 to 10 people max. If you're looking to spend like an hour and a half and just go deep, very specific use cases for your business, sign up. And I think you can actually bundle it and get both for $100 or something like that. Every time I say the word bundle, I always think of the State Farm Patrick Mahomes commercial. You have to, right?
But if you
that's
bundled
4 words. Not if you bundle it. And he goes,
I don't know why I think that's so funny, but I do love
good.
that.
My son loses it every time he sees it. Like, you can't help but laugh. He's like, it starts doing the shaking.
Yes,
it's so good. So check this out. So this is the output. And anyway, what I was getting into about my WebPilot and why they should pay me royalties is you could also just drop the customer's link. You could drop a link. Hey, here's what this company does. Click to their About Us, maybe a couple of products that they do. Here's what we do. Click to this. What are some things that I should highlight? So in this one, again, like, it's about drafting an agenda. You're feeding it some of these details. Also, if you wanted to, skip this part, this like telling it who it is, you could go to their LinkedIn profile. You go to save as PDF, and then you could upload the PDF if you have auto PDF plugin. Then you could, I'll try to shrink this prompt for you. You could say, here's the person I'm meeting with, upload PDF. Here's the product they buy, link to their product page. Here's one thing I know about them. And here's a link to what they do. Write me a new one. So Brian, if you're listening, Brian, I think you're in here. Becca, let's rewrite this. Let's write a new prompt where we do that as well, to save us some time, right? So again, it's just badass. Like, there's just like so many cool ways. Again, you can build the agenda. You can come up with relevant questions to ask. You can get up to speed on their company. Again, like, great. here's some examples of the answers. Like, what are the
I
questions?
I don't need to do it as much right now with my current sales org, but my previous org, one of the things that we set up right towards the end that this would have helped so much was we actually had a CS to AE like survey. So they would send like what was it the CS rep wanted to know before going into the call, right? It was like to skip all the back and forth, to skip like what was in the CRM. It's like, all right, I want to know, why did they buy? What's their personality like? What were their concerns coming? I'm trying to remember like what all those questions were.
Yeah.
This would have made this so much easier because then again, deal closed, survey created. Okay. Rep fills it out. Here's what we know. Here's what they bought. Here's what they liked. Blah, 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 blah. Here's some call recordings. If we had that, now we could plug it into this and say, all right, here's the post-sale survey from the rep. Take this and apply it
just
to
do this.
The
here's
meeting.
the link. Here's the person. Here's the link. I mean, just if you did that, right? So you create this survey. My God, like this is going to make the handoff your customers are going to be like, holy crap, you are better than 100% of the one. I'm not even gonna go 99%. You are better than 100% of the last companies I bought a piece of software from, or I bought anything from. You know?
I got to tell this story because it's literally only happened once, I'll say, in my buying career, right? Since I have been a buyer, right? Since I've been the executive making the choice, it happened one time with a product where I showed up to that kickoff call. I'll never, ever forget this. And the CS rep goes like, all right, KD, you ready? Let me tell you what I know and what we're going to do. And I was like, let's go.
Let's go.
And he nailed it. It's like, your team size is this. You're trying to do this. These have been the sticking points. The things you want to try to optimize are here. You've tried this. It didn't work. You're worried about X, Y, Z, and blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you what we're going to, like, he nailed everything. And so now how do I feel kicking that off?
Like you literally sigh. You
Oh,
sigh
like
out loud.
it was like a, oh my God.
Thank God. Okay.
Like that, you know, CS, you know, we always have to remember what the S in CS stands for. I still feel like most companies don't get this right.
I'm going to steal that. I'm going to steal that.
The S in CS is success.
Yes.
Not support. And too often CS is literally just teaching me how to use the product. They are not making me successful in the product. That's what this is all about, is how you can lean into the S more, especially jumping into this QBR. Because also, I'm going to be blunt, y'all. And you know this too, Jake. Jake, do you look forward to QBRs with your vendors?
No, not
right. You know how many QBRs I love to show up for? Hey, KD, we have a QBR coming up with our sales
checking in. I wanted to touch base, Kevin. How's it going?
Yuck. And again, it has nothing to do with my success. I'll tell this story and then we'll go through it. Because there's another one. Was using a product, wasn't going well. I was getting ready to churn out early. And they're like, oh my God, no. They flew their team on site to meet with me and my team. And their opening slide, Jake, was, okay, you are seeing 88% usage across your team. You are one of our power users. Like, congratulations, blah, blah, blah. I said, excuse me, I need to know the 12% that aren't using this, because this is supposed to be used every day, right? They had no idea what success meant to me in my org. And because of that, it fell apart. So QBRs as the next one, how to run one that actually is successful, this is gold.
Yeah, exactly. And it stands for, somebody asked, quarterly business review. It's not just a SaaS metric. You know, like it's basically like the review calls that you would do with a customer while they're a customer. That's the easiest thing. You can call it a QBR. You can call it a, you know, again, I hate whenever we work with CS orgs, to your point, KD, I tell them up front, I say, there are 3 things we're going to ban from your company almost immediately. We are never checking in. We are never touching base, and we are never catching up. Those 3 things are zero value to me as a buyer, and people are they're busier than ever. They're more inundated with asks of their time than ever. We are adding value. And so let's get into how we can do that, my friend. And again, I want you guys to just think about this. Like, if you are a leader right now, or if you are, you know, in the trenches here, being good at this skill is going to stay with you forever. If you're always thinking about, how do I provide a better customer experience as you move up as a seller, and you start to get good at it now, it will immediately impact you years and years and years from now. As a sales organization, I'm telling you right now, the biggest trend for 2024 is going to be about personalization and the customer experience. We're going to be, this idea that we can just qualify people and treat everyone the same, and this slow, cumbersome process. Nobody's got time for that in 2024. And so the things that we're teaching you now, again, whether you're using them to get up to speed to on a current customer or to grow a current, a new relationship, QBR, this is going to be an important part of this, right? So again, I'm not checking in, touching base, etc. So let's check this one out here, KD. Help me gather updates and performance metrics for Adobe for the past quarter for an upcoming QBR with their creative cloud sales team in North America. Here's some background. Now help me to create a SWOT analysis, create a role-playing script. Now I need to create the presentation slides for the QBR. The QBR had some positive elements, but the Adobe team also brought up some objections and concerns. I'll provide below. Help me to write a follow-up email. Thanks. Right. So what this allows me to do, like you as a sales rep or a CS team, you might not have time to see what all of your clients are up to. Like now you establish those success metrics up front, right? Make sure you do that. But you might not know, like, and it doesn't have to be as big as Adobe. It could be whatever. Like you don't know what their trends are or what's happening. But imagine being able to say, hey, go to this link, go check out this link to this company. What are their last 10 press releases about? Like summarize the top 5 things they're talking about, or go to their LinkedIn page and copy and paste in, the last 25 posts they had. And so just think of that ability to get up to speed on their business, not just the success cases. So then when I go to KD and I say, hey, Kevin, I know, look, I've been following over the last 3 months. Here's a lot of what I've heard from the business. How is that impacting you? I mean, that's never happened. I mean, like maybe, no, I don't think it's ever happened. But your buyers are going to require you to do these things because everyone else is going to start to do them. And so for me, like it's the mix of the success metrics and understanding their business and what's happening in their business that can really, differentiate. So I'll let you.
Because what I love about these prompts, right, is right now most in CS, so much time goes into building like the QBR deck that there's no time for actual strategy.
Right.
And so with my vendors, funny enough, I'm very blunt from the beginning too. I don't do QBRs. I do QBPs. We'll do a quarterly business planning, but sure. I'm not meeting with you for 90 minutes to review the previous quarter.
Yeah.
I can
just
read.
Send me the deck, man. I'll do it.
Send me the deck.
Send me a video art and the deck, and we're good.
I can read. These sessions need to be about forward looking. And that's what makes this great of like, okay, you have a SWOT analysis. I can read that ahead of time. You have you told me your goal was to increase meeting book by 15%. We're currently at 13%. We have some ideas ready to talk about how to get you those last 2 points. And you could even use ChatGPT for that. Hey, we've made it this far in the process. We need 2 more additional points to get them to their end goal. What would be some strategies? What are the weaknesses that we could address? Like your goal with customer success is to be forward looking. Yes. Too often CS is past looking, and it's because they have to dig for this stuff. This stuff should be quick now with prompts connected to your transcripts, to your PDFs, but that allows me to be forward looking. Jake, I cannot tell you, I don't think it's ever happened. KD, we noticed this about your account. This is not fully optimized. Can we get on a call to give you a new strategy to get you closer to your goal? Not once in my leadership career has someone approached me like that in terms of CS. This is so easy. Allows for it.
That's right. And nothing we're talking about. One, if you're an individual contributor out there, just go do this stuff. I don't care what your boss tells you to do. You can just go be prepared for meetings, right? Like that's what we're trying to help you to do here. I could actually, if I flip this exact prompt style to net new business, man, this is a new use case. Again, this is why I love ChatGPT, man. I'm just daydreaming new use cases. Imagine if I pulled someone's press releases and I pulled their, let's call it like annual report or quarterly report. And I said, based on this business and industry trends, write me a SWOT analysis for insert the product that I sell and where they may be ahead or behind. Can you imagine if you sent a SWOT analysis of their own business based on what they've said to a new prospect and said, hey, this is what I know. This is the trends I've seen you talk to. Here's what I think about your business. Do you want to set up a call?
Right. And this is what we've talked about where like, I don't know if we've talked about it on these calls yet, but when I'm doing like, outbound into large accounts, it's the 3 I's. Have we talked about the 3 I's?
No, huh?
Okay. So the 3 I's when you're prospecting to an account, and then you'll see the connection to ChatGPT here, is you go low for info. So you go low into account for info, like who can you target to get information on the account? Do they even use a tool like yours? What are some of the internals? You go low for info. Then you go middle for insight, where you're going, okay, now I know this information. I can bring that to the middle and start to get some insights on the business. Hey, I know you don't use a calendar tool right now, or I know this, that, or the other. Now you have the insights, then you can go to the top for influence. By the time you reach out to someone like me or Jake, you need to be talking to us about our business. Mm-hmm. You should already have information and insights on our business based off the targeting you've done. So now I went low for info, I went middle for insights. I can come back here and say, okay, now craft me a SWOT based off what we've learned about this account, put it into a PDF that looks very clean and professional and ties in some of their latest posts. And like, y'all, I cannot.
Oh my God, it would literally take you 3 minutes to do this. I mean,
3 minutes. And now, Jake, you get an email that says, hey, I built a SWOT report based off what I've learned about your company and aligned it to the goals that you're looking for. Take a look. Let me know what you think.
Yep.
Like, y'all, there's just next level to this. Look at the slides he's putting together.
Yeah, imagine this too. And there's one. What's the one? Is it Slide AI? There's a couple of these slide ones.
Beautiful. AI
That's
one.
I'm thinking of. I've tested that one. Yeah. So you could literally just with Beautiful, you could feed this, and it would like do some of this as well too. Again, you can also, and again, what I also love is again the role playing one. This is one you and I talk about all the time, but like. Okay, you look at Katie's account. Katie says, not feeling it. I'm not happy right now. I don't know about you, Katie, but like when I was in the front lines and still, I'm still closing deals. You're still closing deals. When I've got a big meeting, I'm role playing that stuff in my head. I'm just like, I'm playing out those scenarios. Now I play out the scenarios with ChatGPT. And, Katie says, hey, imagine this. Hey, ChatGPT, our adoption and usage is high, but we're not hitting the success metrics around this, this, and this. What are 2 or 3 ways? Here's my product. Here's what we do. Here's the typical barriers. Here's why people churn. Give me 2 new, fresh ideas.
And y'all, okay, this,
like it's so good.
And what's crazy, especially in CS, I just don't know why they don't get the same attention that sales does.
That's a whole other
all the revenue thing. But y'all, what you need to be doing as a company is consolidating your turnarounds and your wins. So the customer was struggling with X. Here's what we did about it. Here's the result that we got. Because now Jake could go, I have an upcoming call with a customer. Their usage is high, their results is low, and you could put that into your own internal database and quickly pull up multiple examples of companies where you did do something to turn it around. Now, as a CS rep, I have examples and strategies to put into play without having to come up with it, right? So every time you have a win, y'all need to be compiling what did you do to get that win, so that you can now search that as well internally to come up with ideas and strategies. It doesn't always have to be from the blue, because I know some people watch this and go, well, how will ChatGPT know what to do with my customers? Teach it. That's how.
Just tell it. Just
you tell it what you've done in the past, and that way it can help you create something.
Yep. And here's like a great recap email, but don't ever say dear. Why is ChatGPT so obsessed with saying dear every time?
I don't know.
So dumb. And I got to tell you, man, I have tried to reprogram it to say, stop saying dear. And and being so polite, it like can't help itself. It has to be one. Okay. Last but not least is growing new relationships. This to me, again, goes back to scenario planning, etc. Leo called out, I hope all is well. It's so funny, man. I still use I hope all is well, but I don't prospect, but I find just jumping into it to be a little rough,
Yeah.
you know,
Like
like,
it's
hope you're doing great. Like if I'm following up on a statement of work,
yeah.
I'm like, hey, John, hope you're doing great. Blah, blah, blah. That's
Mhm.
still okay, right?
Yeah.
Or no?
It's so yes, it's okay with
Okay.
context. If I say, hey, Jake, hope all is well, that you didn't cut your finger at the pumpkin carving contest.
Yeah.
That I can say because
Okay.
there's context to it, right? Hey, hope all is well. KD, I know you threw your back out because you're old. Like
Yeah.
that,
You are getting old.
if
We're
there's
both getting old, man. I haven't even
context,
told you I got a broken toe right now, man. I
yeah,
got like an
like
old boot.
if there's context, it works. And you can still do it even industry, right? Like, yo, I hope things are going well. I know blank is happening in the industry right now. It's causing a lot of stress. You
Yeah.
can say that. It's just when it's the
Okay. All right. All right.
boilerplate, like, I hope all's well.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. I got it. So hope all is well. All right. So there are still applications. Leo agrees too. He's like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, that one works. Okay. So this one, get ready. Buckle up for this bad boy. Okay. This one I think is one of the most important. I think that I might have teased this prompt. But look, a lot of you want to grow relationships, get into new departments. Let ChatGPT build a plan for you. And sometimes, look, a lot of life is about, a lot of growing relationships is slow playing or medium playing. And too often, every strategy is like now, but that's just not how life works. Maybe you don't have the relationship. So check this prompt out, right? I have a relationship with, the VP of operations. We've sold them insert product link. We have other clients that are using these other products, and this is what their roles are. Here's why they buy. Help me to build a 2-month plan to show value to my current contact to get warm introductions. And it literally tells you, like, all right, here's what you're going to do. You're not going to do check-in, right? We've already talked about that. Set up a call. You're going to do this. Then you're going to get them excited, right? You're going to do a needs, right? Then you're going to sell, okay, who's a CRO as a part of this? Then 3 weeks later, then you're going to offer a free consult. You're going to do this. It gives you this plan that's like, all right, here's what you're going to do. And then you're going to ask. You're going to start to tease. It literally tells you, okay, and this is literally unedited, right? This is exactly what ChatGPT spits out to grow relationships. It's just kind of like, it's crazy, man.
It's the long game, man. And that's what I love. This allows you to get so much of like the planning and prepping done so you can execute. Here's my plan. And you can run it. That's the key. Like chat, right? There's how's the phrase going right now? Like AI won't take your job. A person with AI will take your job. Like that's what's happening.
Ooh, I haven't heard that, but that's true.
Like
that's
right. Like, and my dog's about to lose his mind. So I'm gonna have to go on mute here in a second because the FedEx man's here. So
Oh yeah. They don't like
but that like right now, it's not AI is not ready to take your job yet. But someone like Jake using AI is, because he will be able to stand out and do more. Someone like me using AI will
That's right,
as
man.
well. So I'm gonna go on mute now, but before my dog loses it.
All right. Well, look, we're wrapping up as is. So I'll give you, once your dog loses it, we'll give you a final word. So again, get up to speed with people, have higher quality conversations, grow current customer relationships. Okay. Every business, you want to do those 3 things, no doubt. And we got to update this for like what's going to be next. So we're going to talk about a little bit about coaching. Okay. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're an individual contributor, this is KD. He's warming up. He loves this. This stuff is going to be just as applicable to you. And look, my biggest advice I've taught, if you follow my content or listen to my podcast or other podcasts, you got to take your own professional development into your own hands. You cannot sit around, and every successful person figures this out eventually, that you are not going to be picked. Nobody is going to say, oh, I recognize Kevin's efforts. I'm going to pluck him out like a special flower. You have to take your own professional development into your own hands. And if a company should help you and provide for you, but it doesn't matter. You need to know what you're good at. You need to know what you need to improve and what you're already good at, and you can double down. And so whether you're a leader that wants to use some of the things we're talking about to make their team better, or you're an individual contributor, our session next week is going to hammer this home on how you can build some very, very, very specific skills, professional development, improve your performance. It's going to be
I'm so excited for that. I've been looking forward to this one from day one. Like the coaching, the checklist, the prompts, the plans, issue diagnosis, all of it. I'm so excited for that one.
Love it. All right. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us. Make sure we drop the links in here. Sign up for the Sales Prompt Pro. It's $50. Or do even better, sign up for the workshop, and we'll do, actually, I think there's a deal in there, a bundle, for you missed it, Katie. I was doing then dumping water on my head like the commercial. So check out the workshops. And then look, if your company is trying to figure this out, okay, I am telling you right now, I'm probably talking to at least 4 to 5 leaders a week on this. So if you are a leader, if you are a manager, or you want to go talk to your manager, book time with us. And what we're trying to do now is simplify these use cases to what's top of mind for you. And so, that's one thing that I think Katie and I are great at, which is, hey, there's a lot of these applications. Here are the top 2 for you and your business. We'll worry about the other ones later. So if you've been watching this, you're like, we have to do something, then, make sure to book time with us. I was pretty badass. This rep at Snowflake booked time with me yesterday from just a calendar invite. He invited his boss, and I'm like, dude, you are on top of this, man. Good for you. People there's all these free resources. People just don't take advantage of it. So Katie, take us home. Final thoughts, growing customer relationships with AI.
Right. So, there's the old classic quote that says, like, people don't care how much you know, they want to know how much you care. But what people have forgotten about, well, how do you show how much you care? By showing what you know, right? You can't just care about, you have to show them what you know. That's what this is all about, is now in CS, you can be coming in, showing them what you know about them, about the success, about their industry, about their persona, right? Like, I always got to give credit to Sam McKenna for this, right? She dropped this line and taglined it, right? Show me you know me.
Oh my God. I'm not giving her the copyright for that. All right.
Dude,
I agree she has, but I'm sorry, I can't give you the copyright.
It's so good. There's no copyright. But like, that's the key to success here, y'all, is you have to show people what you know in customer success, the industry, 100%. The customer, the trends, everything else. So that's what I'll wrap with.
And now it's easier than ever.
So
you
easy.
can literally use links, and you can use the prompts that we just showed you. There is no excuse. There's no excuse not to personalize when you prospect, or be relevant. There's no excuse to not use this stuff in the middle cycle. And there's absolutely no excuse to not give customers a great experience whenever they, invest thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars with you. So Thank you, my man. Appreciate you, Katie.
Awesome.
And hit me up about Sunday.
I got you. I'm going to pull it up right now.
And everyone else, we'll see you on the next one. Have a great rest of your week.